What is up, guys? As you can see here, I'm going to do my impressions on the Destiny Alpha, the competitive multiplayer aspect of it, or the Crucible. The cool thing about it is it's not like its own separate mode. It's pretty much seamlessly integrated into the whole universe of Destiny, which is pretty cool. And for the most part, I enjoyed my time in the competitive multiplayer of Destiny, but there were some gripes I had with it, needless to say, but it is an alpha, so, it is what it is. First off, I guess I'll start off with talking about, the good things, like everything pretty much transfers over from your single player co-op online experience, whatever it is, over to the multiplayer, from your weapons to your gear to maybe even your level, which is another question I was going to ask. Like, how's it really going to work in the end when people are a certain level? Like, you're going to be grouped into a pool of players that are the same level as you? That's something I'll talk about later, perhaps. But first off, the controls pretty much are exact same as when you play the single player, which is great because Bungie pretty much single-handedly pioneered first-person shooters on the consoles with the launch of Halo Combat Evolved on the Xbox. I mean, first-person shooters and consoles were like not even a thing until, like I said, Bungie pretty much threw out Halo Combat Evolved and kind of made it a staple. And then once again, they kind of redefined things with the launch of Halo 2 and kind of defining multiplayer for, pretty much the generation to follow. So, I mean, Bungie has a definite pedigree when it comes to these sort of things, and it definitely shows with, the quality, their art style, the single player like experience, and then the multiplayer. I mean, they're very talented studio. And the modes that I saw seemed pretty typical. Like there's domination, there's capture the flag, it appears to be, and deathmatch. We didn't really get to play any other ones. I think you only got stuck with domination, but I'm sure we'll get more access hopefully in the beta. And the map design, although there was only 2 maps, it seemed pretty familiar to most people who played any multiplayer shit. I mean, there was this map, which I honestly don't remember what it's called. This is at the beginning of the video, but I wasn't paying attention. And there was the other map, which was quite a bit larger and wider. It's called Moon. There's actual vehicles, hover bikes on it and stuff. A little bit better for snipers than it was on this map. But like I said, initially I didn't really have too many problems with it. It seemed like, your standard fare. It seemed pretty good. Same Bungie, everything. But there were some kind of unbalanced issues they kind of had with the game. I guess I'll start off with the classes. I mean, there's the Warlock, which has, his little special ability that throws a void out, and then there's the Hunter, which has his supercharges his weapons and it's like insta-kill. And then there's the Titan, which, the campaign, the Titan, is fine. It does work, but his special overcharged ability or whatever doesn't really translate all too that well in the competitive multiplayer because the Warlock and the Hunter's abilities can be used at close range to insta-kill and at long range, whereas the Titan, you pretty much have to be right next to them to like actually be effective, which I don't know, I kind of feel like it gives it kind of a disadvantage, and I feel like maybe they should consider, tweaking a little bit, making it easier for the Titan to, or letting them use their ability more often, since it does seem to be less useful than the other two. But maybe there'll be other classes. We'll see how it turns out. But when it comes to the Alpha, the Titans, their supercharged ability didn't exactly appear to be as good as the other two, which was kind of a problem. And my other issue was the special ammo, which is, the green crates, the purple stuff, and I felt like there was too much of it, to be honest. Like, one thing I saw in a recent video on IGN was they actually addressed this. They actually said, yeah, there was too many special ammo thing, so we kind of made them respawn a little bit slower, which I thought was a good thing. But like I said, I kind of felt like special weapons were being a little bit too liberally. One in particular, the shotgun, kind of ran things. I mean, even on an open map like Moon, there was definitely some close corner corridors, for people who did that, and it was just shotgun heaven. And then on this map, it was pretty much constant shotgunning after a while. I mean, initially when I started playing, no one seemed to be doing it all that much, but as you played the Alpha more and more, it became apparent people were kind of figuring out how to play, at that, with a level that tends to irritate people. I'm not going to call it, scrubby or cheap or whatever, because it is what it is. You do whatever you do to win. But it was kind of irritating getting killed by shotguns so often on my later time spending with the Alpha, since I had such a good time initially, and then after that, it just became shotgun heaven, and it kind of irritated me. But like I said, I'm not really sure how I feel about this game on a competitive level, because like I said, there are so many questions, so many variables, since it carries so much from the single player. It gets so much easier when a developer kind of has like a multiplayer aspect of the game that is a little bit more detached from the single player experience, where this is all seamless, and it is a lot for Bungie to have to consider and balance. I mean, like I said, I brought up levels. Like, what if you're like level like 20 and you want to play in the Crucible? Are you only going to be matched up with level 20s? Because I mean, let's say theoretically you're like the max level and it's like early, like the games just came out, like you might not be able to be matched up against. Does that mean you're going to be stronger, have more health? Like, is there certain balancing aspects in the multiplayer so everything's a little bit more fair? Because like I said, even the classes, like two of them were fine, but the Titan's like ability just wasn't really cutting in the competitive multiplayer. And then there's of course the fact that all the loot and the cool weapons you get from the single player are transferred over to the multiplayer. So if somebody has this really awesome like default rifle, and you just kind of have the basic thing, it's kind of a big difference in it, and it feels a little bit unbalanced. I mean, some people argue, well, I put in the time into the game, so I should have the advantage. And I can understand that. I mean, that concept even applies to like most typical shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield. The more you play the multiplayer, the more cool stuff you get, and you kind of have an advantage. But I feel like it's a little bit more balanced, whereas just because I didn't play like the single player, like I just wanted to go in there and just PvP or whatever. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like World of Warcraft. I mean, this is basically kind of like a sci-fi World of Warcraft because of the PvP and stuff. And I honestly never got into World of Warcraft because of fear I might get hooked to it. But one thing I always kind of wonder is how seriously people took like the PvP per se, because some people might just have played the game way more than you. They'll just simply have significantly better equipment than you and have such a large advantage. And I feel like when it comes to competitive multiplayer, everyone should kind of start off on an equal playing field, and then what determines who's the best is more or less skill. None of this, rewarding people like very much with more modern shooters and stuff. You get like a few kills and suddenly you get like free goodies thrown your way. Like I kind of miss the good old days with just being good. What is this own reward? And now with this, I mean, I guess you kind of have to work for these cool weapons. Like there's like this RPG you could unlock in the alpha that people seem to adore outside of the shotgun and stuff. And I guess they worked for it and stuff. And I mean, I tried to get it too. I don't even think I actually got the RPG awesome thingamajigger. I just kind of stuck with the machine gun thing because that's probably the best thing I got. But like I said, it seems a little bit unbalanced and fair, and I'm not sure how serious it could be taken. And I kind of like, competitive multiplayers to be, competitive, pretty serious and stuff. But I mean, it is very fun, and I do feel like if they give the player enough private matchmaking options, there's definitely potential. Because I mean, there's nothing wrong with the controls, and the map design seems fine. The modes are standard fare, CTF, domination. These are great modes that can easily transition on competitive level for those looking to take to the next level, play in tournament play and stuff. And I think that'd be pretty cool for Sony to have like this awesome huge product that's got a lot of hype behind it. And obviously Sony's been pushing it pretty hard on the platform, and it could be kind of a major competitive multiplayer player for the PlayStation. And I really like to see that because Bungie definitely has the talent and the pedigree to do it. But we'll just have to see how much effort Bungie puts in to like fine tuning everything for the competitive multiplayer. Because like I said, the single player is what it is. I don't really worry about that. It'll be, I'm sure it'll be great, because when it comes to like Bungie and Halo 1, 2, and 3, their campaigns were great. And I mean, their multiplayers were great too. I mean, it wasn't perfect. I mean, we all know about the pistol and Combat Evolved, and Halo 2 wasn't exactly perfectly balanced either. But it's definitely like, when it comes to multiplayers, I definitely hold the Halo franchise in terms of shooters a lot higher than stuff like Call of Duty and maybe even Battlefield. Halo, I actually put it right next to Counter-Strike as one of my most favorite and enjoyable like first-person shooters that I've played. So I mean, I definitely have a lot of faith in Bungie, but I do feel like there's a lot of variables, like someone being a higher level and having cooler gear than you, and simply having a better advantage than you. Like I said, some gear weapons actually let your abilities come back faster. So I mean, that's another factor they have to consider. And like I said, it's the question of, because someone plays more than me, should they have a significant advantage of me? And when it comes to competitive multiplayer, I feel like everyone should be on an even playing field. That's just how it is. That's why I like the arena style shooters versus like more modern, stuff that kind of Call of Duty influence with, you play a bunch of hours and you get the cool guns and stuff. And I mean, anyone can play a bunch of times and stuff, but I mean, some people just don't have the time, and especially when things are so heavily tied into the single player, it's kind of hard for people to take the multiplayer seriously. I mean, how many people play Call of Duty and are great at it? They don't even touch the campaign. Same thing with Battlefield. And that doesn't really influence how good or what you're going to get in the multiplayer. So, I mean, like I said, that's a big hurdle for Bungie to overcome. But like I said, they definitely are a talented bunch. They have the pedigree. So we'll see how they do. And like I said, I have pretty high hopes for this. I mean, when it comes to the controls, the map design, the modes, I mean, I think they got it down. It's just they're going to have to account for a lot of things, like balancing weapons, the gear,
Heavy ammo on
abilities, all that sort of stuff. But what do you guys think? Did you guys get to play the alpha? Did you guys play the competitive multiplayer aspect? Did you guys enjoy it? Leave your thoughts and comments below in the video because I'm curious as to what you guys think. Because, like I said, I always enjoy your feedback. And I think Bungie should definitely... Bungie's one of those studios that actually does listen. So, I mean, definitely give your feedback over on Bungie's website because they're pretty cool people. And they've always, you know, kind of been keen on listening to their fans and stuff. I mean, they already commented about the special weapons and they're making the ammo count. So I mean, like I said, the more info they're getting, the better the product will be. So like I said, leave your thoughts and comments here. Definitely go to the Bungie site and check it out if you're looking forward to Destiny. I'm definitely very excited for this game. It's one of my more anticipated games, if not the most anticipated game of 2014 for me. And that's it for this commentary. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys later. Peace.
Zone C neutralized. Zone A lost. Enemy captured Zone A. Zone C secure. Well done. I could have used your talents in the field.